justice served for George Floyd, as former police officer Derek Chauvin has been found guilty on 3-count charges. So on the 28th of April 2021, a 12-man jury actually deliberated for over 10 hours after 3 weeks of listening to over 38 witnesses, excluding the defendant Derek Chauvin, who pled the fifth and refused to testify in his own case. They found him guilty on 3 different charges. The charges are second-degree unintentional murder, meaning that he caused death without intent by committing a felony. So he's been charged with felony. Second-degree manslaughter, that is, he caused death by unreasonable risk, which is very true. Third-degree murder, causing death by an eminently dangerous act, showing a depraved mind. I feel like this is like the most proper way to describe what he did to George Floyd. If you don't know this story, I doubt you do not know this story. But in May of 2020, then police officer Derek Chauvin, with some of his accomplices who are actually going to be charged, who are already charged and will face trial in August, stopped George Floyd by the road. They made him get out of his car. They searched his vehicle, they searched his body, they tried to push him into their police van. And George Floyd, while he didn't resist arrest at any point of the check, he told them that he is claustrophobic and he would not be able to get into the tiny space in their van. They pushed him in, they handcuffed him. Then, because he was shouting and he was basically telling them that he could not breathe inside of the vehicle, they took him out and laid him on the floor while handcuffed. And Derek Chauvin knelt on his neck for over 9 minutes. At the end of the day, he said he couldn't breathe. He said regards to his mom, and then he took his last breath while Derek Chauvin was still kneeling on his neck. So autopsy that was carried out showed that he died from low oxygen and he had cardiopulmonary arrest, complicating law enforcement subdural restraints and neck compression. Although the attorney of the defendant, Derek, said that he died by a combination of factors including drug use and a pre-existing heart condition. However, further tests and everything shows that was not what killed him. It was the kneeling on the neck and the inability to actually take in oxygen. Asphyxia, that was what killed George Floyd. He left a child and his mother on earth while he is now a deceased person. Well, everybody's rejoicing and we are happy that his justice is served, because the death of George Floyd sparked a worldwide revolution, the Black Lives Matter, and it is basically a movement that had actually been in existence, but George Floyd's death further enraged people and they spoke out, and there were protests for days on the streets of the United States of America, in different states of the United States of America, with people protesting police brutality against African American community in the United States of America, and the killing of black men and unlawful arrest and searching of all of these men, male and female. And of course, several other people died in the course of the movement. But then the person whose death actually sparked the movement has been justified, and I hope that his family will at least have some relief from knowing that the main person that killed, because now we can call it murder, he has been convicted, that killed their son, is going to jail. Although his sentencing will not happen until 8 weeks, but then for everything that he has done, he's possibly looking at about 75 years in jail when they sentence him in 8 weeks, that is in 2 months. Because the maximum penalty on second-degree murder charge is up to 40 years in prison. The third-degree murder charges carries a sentence of up to 25 years in prison. The maximum penalty on second-degree manslaughter is up to 10 years in prison. So if they are giving him the maximum charge on each of the crime he has been found guilty of, he is looking at about 75 years jail term. That is basically life imprisonment, because I mean, who's going to become of him in 75 years in jail? The president, Joe Biden, and Vice President Kamala Harris are expected to speak on Tuesday evening on Chauvin's conviction, and we await what they have to say. But Chauvin has been remanded to the custody of Hennepin County, and he was led out of the courtroom in handcuffs. Yes, great for him, the same way he handcuffed George Floyd. But fellow officers J.A. King, Thomas Lane, and Tao Tao are each facing felony charges of aiding and abetting second-degree murder and aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter. They'll face trial together in August, like I said, and we hope that also justice will be served and these men will be charged to court, because they watched a fellow officer kneel on someone's neck while he was complaining and gasping for breath until he actually took his last breath. Although Chauvin did not testify, and actually there was nothing he needed to say, there is nothing he could say to actually justify himself, because on that stand, on the witness stand, anything he said, the prosecuting attorney would actually rip him for every word that comes out of his mouth, which is why it is better that he actually kept his mouth shut. Although at the end of the day, he was found guilty and he's going to be sentenced in another 8 weeks. Why is it sentenced in another 8 weeks? But then he faces a maximum sentence of 40 years. That is, if they are not giving him the full charge, the maximum prison charge on each of the crime he is guilty of, he has been convicted of. He's still going to get at least 40 years in prison. Whew. I feel relieved, although I know that this is not going to bring this man back by any means, and that his daughter, would actually have to end up without a father all alive. But there is some sort of peace, or should I call it, I think it's peace, you would refer to it as, that comes with knowing that justice has been served and the person responsible for the death of your beloved father, of your son, of your friend, is suffering for it, is being punished for what they've done, even though that will not bring your child back. But you could take consolation knowing that he didn't die in vain, and also knowing that the Black Lives Matter movement actually brought something. It created more awareness about what the black community is going through in the United States of America. And also, the movement was so effective that when Asian hate started in the United States of America, when it became more prominent in the United States of America, it was easy for them to curb it. It was easy for the Stop Asian Hate to actually gain ground, and people paid attention to that movement too. And the long hours of protest, and the long hours of protest and long days of protest on the streets of the United States of America actually brought changes, because it caused other organizations, other unions to actually look within themselves to see how they are treating black people in their industry, black people in the community, in their own community, and how they are treating them in their organization. It even gave us the first black vice president, the first female black vice president, who is also Asian, by the way, and also a graduate of an HBCU. I mean, what more can we ask for? The Black Lives Matter movement actually did something. It created more awareness also for black businesses, because even it made people think within themselves. I mean, as why, although there's racism, there will always be people that are racist. People that were racist and bullied and booed black children when they were trying to integrate black into white schools are actually grandparents now. So racism is still very much around us. People that were racist in the early years, that we think is now the early years, are actually still among us. So we can't totally erase that, but then it brought about a conversation and a shift in the narrative, which is also why we are seeing this justice for George Floyd, because he's not the first black man that will be killed by a police officer, and we've seen that he's not the last, because very recently a female police officer said she mistook a gun for a taser and killed a black man in his vehicle. And this black man, according to the victim's aunt, has some kind of connection to George Floyd. I can't remember now. I think his teacher was George Floyd's aunt or girlfriend or something like that. it's all just some crazy thing, but I'm glad that this movement is happening and that there is justice for George Floyd at the end of the day. What do you think about this author? Let me know in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.